We're live. Let's go. Tonight, character creation of DC20 RPG. Let's go. It's about to get hot in here, so let me turn my AC. And there we go. Okay. Who we got in the chat? I'm excited. 323, Liam, Scatterbug, Reno, Grand Old Dwarf, what's up? Sam Bros, Wolves, Dylan Allen. Really curious to see how social encounters work. Would love to see some fun new ideas. Oh, Dylan, you're going to love it. Oh my gosh. I have an entire alternate combat system that you can also use in exploration and combat and role play and social encounters and combat and mini combats and skill challenges, and it's a whole thing, and it works perfectly in DC20. That one is going to be a little bit later one because that's going to be a beta thing and something I'm going to be showcasing for the first time at Gen Con. So we will see about that one. That's going to be a super exciting little teaser there. Thank you, Dylan Allen, for letting me slip that one in there. Multiverse DM, hey, what's up? What's up? Spinner's doing the same. TTRPG. Let's go. Appreciate the support, Multiverse DM. Love it. Look at Multiverse. You're out there, bro. You're out there. Horse in the Sands. Welcome. You had a question, but you forgot what it was. Well, hey, it's all good. We're just starting, so let me know if it comes back to you. Fryman. Terry Gueraz. Love saying that last name. Let's go. Tabletop Phoenix. That's my Phoenix impersonation. I apologize. Michelle and Bug, the Ink Bug, is here in full force. Good evening. What's up, Jason? What's up? Wait, Jason? Is that my Jason? That's it. The icon looks like. But anyway, Z Leon, what's up? Power Hungry is here again. A lot of you guys are here for the early. I had a live stream this morning, a patron-only live stream where I was developing some stuff. For DC20. We did some spells today, and we're going to be talking about spell casting next live stream. So if you are watching this late or watching this now, next week, 2 weeks from today. Oh no, yes, 2 weeks from today, I will be doing a live stream right before I go out of town to go towards Gen Con and stuff. So yes, you made it, Stephen A. What's up, brother? What's up? Garrus Castillion finally made it on time. Stop being late, Garrus. Welcome. Luke, what's up? Excited? And Mike Gyrism, new faces. There's some new faces, some first timers. Let's go. Bob Vecna, great last name, of course. I know you, Bob. Flicker Springs, hello. What's up? I love that name, Flicker Springs. It's fun to say. No, I'm another Jason. See, now you say, Jason, you say you're another Jason, but then the ... makes me think otherwise. I don't know. Anyway, Isel, hello. Let's go. Let's see what we got this go around. You'll just buckle up. You're going to see. And Nate Dub with the yo, man. Let me get a sippy sip. And we're off and popping. So, here's how this thing works, people. First time online since I was 8. This has been my first time online since I was 8. Welcome, Flicker Springs. Coming here full circle now. Young and now adult. Let's go. So, Xander, hola. Yeah, that's how you say that, right? All right. Here's how this is going to work. How these streams work in general. We are on number 8 of these, I think now, right? 8? Yeah, we're on part 8 of these things. I'm going to try and have this be a 10 part series of just the ultimate full solid basics of the game, so that's out there as far as like the concept. So if somebody really wants to dive into it, they can check out the live streams and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to kind of go back and forth from doing Dungeon Master Q&As to DC20, Dungeon Master Q&As to DC20, right? So next live stream, number 9, is going to be the spellcasting system, and that will be a pretty big chunk of everything. The time after that will be kind of how DCs work, and then I'm going to have honestly just like a Q&A of questions about the game in general, and then just kind of hang out, answer questions about whatever, and that will kind of maybe morph into a Q&A stream. And then after that, I'm going to go back to doing every other live stream. Is going to be a Dungeon Master Q&A and a DC20 back and forth, right? So every other stream will be that. Cool. So, naming these reveals. Oh, when I see the stream go up, I didn't know what it's about. More likely to click on something else. Popping and suggest some of the naming these reveals. Instead of a new TTRPG DC20 game system reveal, like have a spicier name. I'm gonna have to do a series for sure on whenever I do like YouTube videos on like with the official games done, and this is now I'm gonna be of course I'm gonna release YouTube videos on like how to play the game, like, you know, and do a whole thing on that, right? As I assume other content creators that I have in the lineup will be doing as well. I have some big names. Lots of people are interested in DC20 RPG. So here we go. Here's how this works, y'all. I'm gonna go through this. This is the alpha document, but what I'm going to show you guys is this. This is the DC20 overview, and we've gone through all of this stuff already, and we are going to go through maybe that stuff tonight, all the blue stuff, right? Gonna go through all that. I'll explain how it works. I'll do a section of it. Then I'm gonna go to the chat, see if there's any sort of talking about it, seeing what y'all think. And yeah, and if y'all have a specific, I'm gonna say to the chat. So during the live stream, y'all can talk to each other, chat to each other. Of course, love seeing you guys talk to each other, especially about DC20. And then I'm gonna say to the chat or whatever. And then if you guys have questions or thoughts or something, we'll kind of bing bop them around. At the Dungeon Coach helps me see it a little bit better if there's like a specific question instead of just like kind of comments with everybody. And then that's how it's going to go. And I try and have it be like the first half or so, but then I usually get long-winded and get too excited talking about this. And then the back part is going to be like, you know, questions of whatnot of what I've shown and talked about. And any sort of other questions you have outside of that scope. If you do super chat, your question jumps to the front of the line as far as, well, it's not Q&A. So I will answer any questions outside of what I'm talking about today. Of course, with super chats, because super chats and all of that go to support this whole thing and the vision that is this game coming into existence. So if this game sounds interesting to you, the first level will just be watch the videos on it, share around the videos on it, talk about it to your friends about DC20, see what's going on. And then the next level would be live streams, super chats, and all that kind of stuff. The number one best way is Patreon. This game is completely supported by Patreon. If I did not have the patrons I have and the support from you guys, I would literally not be able to do this. I would have to do something else, especially in the aftermath with all of the OGL stuff. But we're doing it, baby. So without further ado, hype train. There we go. Grand Old Dwarf starting the hype train. Hype. Andy in the Void. Much love. Can't tune the whole time, but happy to make it even only. Let's go. 20 minutes. Andy's got 20 minutes for some DC20, so let's not waste Andy's time. Let's go. All right. So character creation is what we're talking about here. So in general, this is the alpha document, right? And if you've been here from the beginning, this alpha document has gone from how I have this is red is like needs a whole bunch of work. Orange is like pretty good. And it's like we're getting close to the end and we're just tweaking some things. Green is good, but except for final touches, me and Purius talk about final touches and go back and forth on some stuff before it turns purple. Purple is when it's ready for review. And currently right now, the alpha document is in review by my team right now. We are in the back part of that review, almost done with that review. And then as soon as that's done, I go over the review. I update the document from 0.3 to 0.4. And that's what's going to be a PDF that releases in about 3 to 4 weeks or so. Or right when I get back from Gen Con. Really depends on that. So there we go. And they are all purple. The only thing that's not purple are classes, even though technically classes are purple. But we'll talk about classes here if we can get to it. So here's how this is going to go. I'm going to dive into, usually with these live streams, I kind of stay right here and talk about like, you know, some little drop down stuff. But we're diving right into it, y'all, because I want to show you guys what's up. So here's the character creation outline of how the character creation process works. I'm literally walking y'all through this. So especially if you've seen all of the rest of these, this will really you'll really understand as far as attributes go and how the whole thing works. So some of these things I'm going to gloss over because hopefully you've seen the other of these live streams because I'm explaining a game system, right? I am going to, you know, if you haven't, that's fine. You can still kind of get some context clues. I will gloss over some things, but if I move fastly through something, it's probably because I've already mentioned it, right? And I'm already talking so fast I'm freaking drying my mouth out. Purple Dragon Mini, courtesy to your grandmother. Let's go, Purple Dragon Mini. Hop of the Hoppadopin Dynasty. What a crazy awesome name. Okay, cool. So let's go. Or as Andy says, Lego. All right. So character attributes. Characters have 4 attributes. There are 3 different ways to get your attributes. In general, standard array is going to be the way that I would recommend. It's going to be the way to go. Roll method, I don't know if I'm just trying to make sure that there's multiple methods, right? I am gonna, whenever the beta comes out, there'll be different ways to do a rolling method. There'll be a DC method of doing it, kind of how I do it for Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, there's point buy, but I heavily recommend standard array. Standard array is you have 4 attributes, right? And you get a 2, a 1, a 0, and a -1 to put into your 4 base attributes. You can put them wherever you want. And then once you've placed them there, you get 2 additional points to put wherever you want, right? Done. Simple. Done. And the only caveat, though, is you cannot go higher than 3, right? You cannot put both of those +2s into your 2. You know how of the 4 attributes, you get a 2, 1, 0, -1. You can't put both of the points into the 2, right? You can't do that because then that would be a 4, and the attribute cap at level 1 is 3. Yes, that's right. There's an attribute cap because I don't think a level 1 character should ever have a max stat. In Dungeons & Dragons, you can get a 20 for some rolling methods, and you can at least get an 18. Just also big picture here for DC20. The highest attribute cap at level 20 is a 7, right? A +7, right? This is not like D&D where you have the attribute like some sort of score that then calculates into a modifier. It's just your modifier, right? So if you have a might of 3, your might modifier is a +3. It's very simple, right? So at level 1, the cap is 3, and at level 20, the cap is 7, right? And then there's skills and other stuff like that to add on to things like that. So standard array is the way to go. Haha. And yes, that's a -1. And you can patch the -1 up if you'd like. And there's also going to be little features in the game where you can take a feat that gives you a -1 as well. And there's feats you can take on during this that are also going to bring you down. But that's going to probably be a beta thing. I don't want to get to. I want to make sure that the game gets out before I put all this shiny little sparkles on it, right? So. Next, you pick your character's modifiers. There are 3 different types of modifiers in the game, although Fortitude and Grit might be going away, but that's a whole nother, we'll see about that. They've already gone away, then they came back, and then you'll see. The Prime modifier, I've made a whole video on that before, and we've talked about it, is your character's highest attribute. So wherever that 3 is, probably, of your 4 stats, whichever one has a 3 in it, you probably should have one of them to have a 3 in it. That is going to be your prime modifier, right? Which is just going to be a +3. So at level 1, assuming you didn't just have a 2 and try and level out your stats. Assuming if everyone makes a character how they're, I don't want to say supposed to, but it's a good idea at level 1 to put your stats in, at least get a 3 somewhere. That's your prime modifier. Character saves, you get to pick 2 saving throws that you're proficient in, you have mastery in, right? So of those four categories, there are 4 saves. Might save, agility save, intelligence save, charisma save. You pick 2 of them, you get to choose. It's not based on your class or whatever. You get to choose your saves and you pick them. You could pick, let's say you want to make a physical character and you have agility and might, yeah. And then you get your saves and you also want to put those in agility and might, yeah. So you're really loaded up over here and very weak over here. Or I've seen in character creation, done a bunch of playtesting at this point now, you can have some solid might and agility scores, but then you could choose to be proficient in intelligence and charisma, saving throws, right? So if things get bad, you have a solid mind if things really hit the fan, but in general, you're a physically strong person. You know what I'm saying? So you can, and that also can be based on role play decisions, based on optimization, tactics decision, whatever you want, you get to choose, right? So there you go. You pick 2 saves. This is the optional flawed feat that I talked about, where you get to kind of pick a flaw. It's in brown. Anything in brown in this document, it just means it's the beta thing. Brown is beta. Beta means brown. So done. Choosing an ancestry. We will talk about ancestries here in a minute. But in general, your ancestry, it gives you a speed. Usually the speed is 4 by default. So when you take the move action, you can move 4 spaces, right? Which is essentially 20 feet of movement as far as that goes. In Dungeons & Dragons, you in general have 30 feet of movement and 1 action, which is a whole different system. If you're not familiar, this uses a 4 action point system. So you can spend 1 action point to move, which means you could move 20 feet or 4 spaces, because 1 space is 5 feet. But I'd rather have the unit of measure be spaces, because that's what the grid is. Anyway, you could take a move action again and move 4 spaces again and again and again, right? So you actually can move more than you could in D&D. But then that's part of your action economy, because your action economy makes sense because it's one single unit of action points. And that is what your action economy is, instead of it being separated. But that's a whole nother topic for another video, or another that I've already done in a video talking about action points. Your size, all player characters' size is medium. There are no small player characters. There are no large player characters, right? Oh, what about gnomes and what about halflings? The size categories are just under them. So small is like just smaller than a gnome, right? Like a large dog or a medium-sized dog type situation. That is a small category, right? So all player characters are going to be medium-sized. Is there a future expansion for DC20 where we have like a pixie class or like a small little tiny whatever? Sure, no problem. But a kobold, all these things, you know what I'm saying? There you go. If you want to have a character class feel like, oh, I want to feel, how do I like feel tiny or feel small or feel that, whatever. They're going to have large characters are going to get certain things baked into their ancestry where they have reach, or they have twice the carrying capacity, advantage on strength, this or that, whatever they have, right? And then the tiny characters might get feats that are negative feats that make them smaller, or they have the goblin thing where they can deal extra damage, or they have the slip between cracks and stuff. So they have positives or negatives based on their size that they're given at the ancestry level, instead of it being some sort of size categorization thing. I just think that's a smoother way to handle it. And then you don't have to wonder like, okay, this is a small race, but what does that mean? And then you have to see, what does small race mean? It's all in one spot, right? Also, it's another thing I'm trying to do with DC20 is have things be very straightforward. And when you're in the book and you see something and it tells you can do something, that something's right there. And it doesn't say, oh, you got to go over here and see what that is. I can't tell you guys. I'm playing in Pathfinder right now just to explore. I'm being a player in Pathfinder, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to, oh, this feat has the wild swing feature. Like, what's a wild swing feature? Where do I even find that? And have to go find wild swing. That's the properties of the, anyway, right? So I'm really trying for DC20 where if I tell you something, it's right there. And if I have to repeat myself to say it's right there, that's fine, right? But I'm not going to ever want to make you flip through the book and go all over the place to try and find this thing. It's all going to be right there for you, right? There you go. There's that rant over. That's Ancestry. And there's a ton of stuff I want to do with Ancestry, like a ton. I have a bunch of ideas for Ancestry. In fact, right now we're going to go back to the chat real quick because I've been moving. Do you guys want me to keep going through character creation so we can try and get to classes, or do you want me to stop and reveal what my plans for Ancestry is? So say go or Ancestry. Go or Ancestry in the chat, and I want to see what you guys say. Keep going. Yes, go. Go. Okay. So, sorry, the Ancestry people came in too late. And there's only 3 y'all. It's okay, cool. All right, yep. All right, we're going. So, hey, go. Ooh, one more Ancestry from Ruli. Go, please. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep going. So, Ancestries. Basically, Ancestry is going to be super cool, customized features for you to be able to have across all Ancestries, and you can combine Ancestries to have a hybrid who was your mom and dad mix of things there. But anyway. So backgrounds are very simple. Oh my gosh, very simple. Backgrounds, you get 5 skill masteries, which is basically the equivalent of D&D getting 5 skill proficiencies, right? 3 trade or language proficiencies, right? And then a background ribbon. I don't like the name ribbon, but you get a flavorful background feature, you know, like the thief has like a contact in the city. The wanderer is able to forage for berries and stuff, right? Flavorful stuff, nothing combat oriented, right? Excuse me. So maybe ribbon is an appropriate name because it's just a little floaty, flirty feature thing, right? And then your background gives you starting equipment. So your background's very simple. It's heavily, it's mechanical up here where you get trades and skills. You know, what's your trade that you did? What kind of skills are you good at, right? And then it gives you flavorful stuff on everything else, which is all going to be mix and match customizable. You'll be able to essentially make your own. There'll be a whole bunch of list of background ribbons, and that is going to be what the backgrounds are. Because right now in D&D, they have like a whole bunch of blocks of like these different backgrounds. We'll have a bunch of options for backgrounds. There'll be flavor text in there, sure, but all it's going to have is a ribbon and starting equipment. That's it, right? And then you pick your skills. You pick your lanes and trades and skills. I don't care. You're a thief. What kind of thief are you? There's so many different kinds of thieves. Why am I trying to lock you into certain skills and trades, right? Pick whatever skills and trades you want, but you get your little bundle of things that make you a thief, and that's your package, and you're good to go, right? So yeah, let's go. Background traits. I can't say traits because we're already doing ancestry traits. I do like the word trait, but I'm trying to also, one of the things I have at the top here, characters get attributes and skills, ancestries get traits, backgrounds get ribbons, classes and subclasses get features. So I'm just so I can be very specific with what the wording is. So I'm also trying to make DC20 be very, very clear vocabulary wise. So if I say something, it's super clear and clean what I'm saying. So you're not like, well, what does that mean? Where would that go? Where would that be? Right. So anyway, choosing a class. We're getting there, y'all. We're getting there. Choosing a class, you get class features at 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 8th level. Don't worry, I will show you the chart here in 2 seconds. Your class gives you a bunch of class features. Super sick, sweet, obvious. Of course, your class is going to be huge for that. And your class gives you starting equipment. For the alpha, I'm not going to have starting equipment for what you get in start. I'm not going to spend time on what each class gets as starting equipment. Not worried about that, right? And then you fill in your character sheet. And that's it, essentially. You have health points. There's the formula for health points. Physical defense, depending on if you wear light or heavy armor, there's the formula for that. Mental defense, how strong you are, protection up here. Your attack or spell checks that you make when you swing a sword or cast a spell, and your save DC. That's right, every character has a save DC. Another benefit of the prime modifier. So if you have a weapon of some kind that grants you a spell, its DC is your spell save, it's not spell save DC, sorry, it's just your save DC. When you're doing a martial attack to try and trip somebody, how hard is it for them to avoid being knocked prone? Your save DC. Any effects you try and implement onto somebody with your prime modifier, because the prime modifier exists, it's a beautiful way to be able to have a save DC be work for spells and physical stuff, right? Both, and it's your save DC, right? Done, right? Now, if you get a magic item that casts a really powerful magic spell, maybe it has with a save DC of maybe that happens, but all characters have a second right there. So it's like a second AC. Oh, I just did a video. If anyone's wondering about mental defense and physical defense, the most recent video on the channel, actually, 1 week ago's video on the channel is, it says like armor class and has an X through it and has a suit of purple armor. It is a whole video breakdown on physical defense and mental defense. Basically, it is your physical, can I block stuff? If I'm wearing armor, does it affect anything? And mental defense is like psychic attacks on your mind, holy light, rays of light hitting you that wouldn't be affected by armor, right? So that's the quickest explanation I can give for you on that one. But I have a whole video that explains that, and it's super cool. System for 2 different kinds of armor, a physical and a magical, or a mental, right? So there's that. And then here's the character progression, y'all. Oh my gosh, what? Guys, y'all didn't tell me. Y'all didn't tell me I wasn't scrolling through this. Guys, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that go back. I've been sitting here scrolling through this thing, and you guys didn't say anything. Bruh. Right? I'm sitting here talking about ancestries, talking about backgrounds with 5 features, 3 features of background ribbon, starting equipment, brown. There we go. Oops. And then the classes. And yeah, I was showing you the chart in a second because, here's the formulas. Here's all the formulas. I was saying, here's the formulas, right? Okay. But here is the chart. This is the chart. Can you all see that? Can you all see that? There we go. Character progression table, right? Character progression table. Let me get it right there. Cool. So, the one thing I will say is the action point thing here is probably the only thing that is not true, and I'm pretty much can almost guarantee you that's not going to happen, right? That's pretty much just not going to happen. As far as action points being up to 6 and 7 and 8, I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm almost making a call right now. We will play test it in some way, shape, or form, but I think that's just going to be too much. All right, so here is the character progression table. This might be the first time I've ever shown this, right? This is just to break down what you're looking at here. This is your level. This is the attribute cap that we just talked about. Attribute cap at first level starts off at 3, and then at 5th level it opens up to 4, right? So your main maximum stat, your highest stat, is, it opens up to 4. You can put another point in there now, right? Skill mastery cap, it starts off at novice, which is the +2. Adept is +4. Expert +6. Master +8. And Grandmaster at level 20 of +10, right? As far as skill modifiers go, right? Or your skill score. So that's how mastery works. I've done videos on mastery as well. And I did a whole live stream on mastery as well. So there's that. And then attribute points. So your attribute points, those 4 key attributes you get. Starting off at level 1, you get 2 points to start with. Like I told you, you can pick your standard array, and then you get 2 points. Put them wherever you want. And then at level 2, you get another one. Whoa! It's crazy. It's almost like as you level up, you continuously get attribute points to represent your character getting stronger. Instead of at 4th level, having to choose between getting attribute points and a feat, which is most likely better to pick the feat and also more fun. So why would you but then sometimes you should pick the attribute, then you don't get a feat, which that feels, anyway, right? I'm not trying to, say anything here, but you know what I'm saying? So, yes, at level 2, you get another attribute point, and you can put it wherever you want. But if you have a 3, you cannot put it into the 3. You can put it into another one, and you can keep, balancing them out, loading 2 of them up, spreading it out, however you want to do it. Who cares? It's your call, bro. There's that, and then you also get another one at 4, 5, 7, 8. Or 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 9, 9, 9. There's a pattern it follows if you notice it. It's 2, then gap, then 1, then gap, then 2, then gap, then 1, then gap, and it's a perfect flow to keep everything moving nicely, right? And you also, when the cap increases, like when you get a cap increase, you also get an attribute point increase. So I do see, my prediction is that whatever your highest stat is, or whatever you want to get a +4 in, you're probably going to put this point into that to get your +4. You probably will do that. You probably also should do that because that's your prime modifier. Prime modifier is important, right? So there we go. And then skill points. You also get skill points sprinkled out as a cross as you level. You start off getting 5 skill points to put in your skill masteries, right? Acrobatics, athletics, influence, animal, religion, knowledge, investigation, etc. Right? You get 5 at the start. And then level 2, you don't get anything, but look, you get an attribute. So you get something at every level. At every level, the times when you don't get an attribute point, you get a skill point. Sometimes you get both. Times you get this. So you're always getting something. You always get a little bit of, but you're not overwhelmed with like overhauling your character sheet. It's just I leveled up. Sweet, I'm gonna get that. You just get a little something. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, I see 323 real quick. Hear me out on this. Talents that are restricted to 11th level and higher should be called mythic talents, as significantly entering the levels of power similar to myth. Yes. So 323 Starlight, that is 100% already a design goal, an intention, and yes, right? So I would say this. Epic boons at level 10 are going to be very, very powerful talents. That is going to kind of also be the tone and vibe of talents that have a level restriction of 11 or higher on them. They're going to be baller, those talents, right? So there we go. Yes. I've also gone down the rabbit hole of thinking about possibly having it to where at level 11 through here, you get 2 talents. One of them being something like you're talking about, and then another one being one where you can go steal from multi-classing stuff. But that's still something I want to see, because I don't want things to get too wild and crazy at these prestige levels. Because in general, and I'll go ahead and talk about this now since 323 Starlight said that, but in general, Ja Roma, what? So is all the crunchy class stuff happening first 1 through 10 a design intent to reflect the actual levels that space most campaigns take place in? Sounds awesome. Ja Roma. Ja boy. Ja J-A Roma. Let's go. Thank you for the $20 super chat, bro. Thank you. So yeah, in fact, I'll take that little tangent right there for you, Ja. Is 100%. And I also love that you got the eye on you, Ja Roma. What Ja said, and if y'all didn't notice this, right, is what do you notice right here? What do you notice on the right-hand column over here, right? All classes take place 1 through 10. So if you choose Paladin, you are going to get your stuff from 1 through 10, right? You do not get, your Paladin class does not give you anything else from levels 11 through 20, right? Because think about it. And I mean, I would dare you guys in the chat right now. what's the highest level character you've ever played? You know, I'm talking from a start of the campaign. I'm talking start of the campaign, start at level 1. Maybe I'll give you a pass if you want to start at level 3, because some people do that. You know, but even that's only like a 2 or 3 sessions save you time on. But what's the highest level character that you've ever played, right? It's probably 12, probably 13, right? Not many people get to 20, and that's not a shot. That's not a shot in any way, shape, or form, right? And the game gets wild after 10, 11, 12. You know what I'm saying? You know, like at like 12 and 13, 14 for sure, 15, 16, you're like gods, and the whole game changes, and it's a whole different way to play, and it's nuts, right? So the sweet spot of the game, and I've done a lot of research on this, right? And you guys in the chat are saying 10, 11, 15, 16, 8, 12, you know what I'm saying? And playing the game, you get to 20, 13. And also keep in mind, the question I just asked is, what's the highest ever? And if you were to take the average player, which is, and also what I'm getting to now, the average Dungeons and Dragons player that plays the game is in the pocket from 8 to 12. So the pocket from 8 to 12 is where like the average average end of a campaign, not the average player. The average end of a campaign is 12, right? A lot of campaigns end up here. Some campaigns go to 20, but not much. It's a lot of commitments, a lot of time, it's a lot of consistency. You know what I'm saying? So why on earth would you design a class from levels 1 to 20 if most people in existence don't play that class from 1 to 20? Why would you do that? It makes no sense. Pathfinder and D&D do that. I don't think it's a good idea, because if most players only ever played a 12, you know what I'm saying? If 12 is the highest you ever see, you will never see, if you play Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder, you will never see that cool feature at 14th level. Ooh, look at this class. At 17th level, you will probably never get that. Ever, right? And when you do, you'll only have it for a little bit of time, this class-defining feature. You'll only have it for the small smidgen of time, and the campaign's probably almost over, right? So instead, in DC20, the same time span is true. One thing I want to make this very clear. Leveling up is about the same speed in D&D as it is in DC20. So if you were to start campaign, if you and your friend group, like a friend group online starting to play D&D, you just started a DC20 campaign, and you start playing the same exact module that's been repurposed for both games, right? You play the same game, you'll level the same speed, right? That's my goal, at least, right? Is that the flow would be about the same, right? So you're going to be able to actually, in that 1 through 10, you're going to be leveling up side by side with that D&D character. The D&D character hits 5th level, you hit 5th level, cool. And then you hit 8th level, and you hit 8th level, and you get your class capstone feature, and you feel like that class. Oh yeah, let's go, nice. And you feel like that massive paladin, you feel like that cleric, and you get the big cool thing. And then let's say your campaign ends at 9 or 10, or 11 or 12, cool. And then in my system, if you get to level 12. Right? Cool. You got level 10, and then you got 2 more talents. You did 2 prestige levels, because 1 through 10 is the base class, and then you did 2 prestige levels. And prestige levels are super simple. You get talent and some extra little stuff. Cool. And you can keep going. It's awesome. I truly think it's the way to go. But I'm biased, obviously. So and that's why I'm calling it prestige levels. Yeah, Garrus, average for me is 3 to 11. Yep. And Elon, yes, level 20 is probably more for one-shots. Exactly. Most people that have played a level 20 that I've talked to, it's been in some sort of like fun little one-shot they did. Like, oh, let's get a bunch of level 20s. And then they make a bunch of level 20s and play them. You know what I'm saying? And that's totally fine. It's totally fine. Level 21. That's funny. And then there you go. So there we go. I hope that answers your question, Ja Roma. Appreciate you. Sold. Gotcha, bro. All right. And then Mike Geyer with a $10 thank you. Doesn't even ask a question. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. And then 1 level per session is fairly common starting among groups I know. Yeah, at first, like I would say people usually start at level 1, it levels up pretty quickly, it gets to 3, and it starts to slow down at 3, it starts to really slow down at 5, and so on and so on. So anyway, yes. And then cool. All right. So to get back on track now, appreciate the super chat, peeps. Appreciate you. Now level 1. There we go. Skill points, you get them. Trades of skill languages. Trades and skills, you get 3 of them, and you get 2 more at 5, 2 more at 10, 2 more at 15, and you can keep leveling up your trade skills. I do think that these are going to also get another one. I think there's going to be another +1 here, another +1 here. But I want to play test that a little bit more to see if we should up the trades and languages section of that. I think it's okay, but I do want it to make sure that if somebody really wants to invest in that, they can. They can spend talents on it, but I basically want to make sure I can give people enough points to where they feel like they're okay, like the average person feels okay. And if you really want to invest in trades and languages and stuff, you can pick a talent for it, right? And accelerate that. So there's that. And then bang. Cool. So why slow down? I'm saying that's usually what I do in Dungeons and Dragons. Is I try in my Curse of Strahd campaign. I got them to level 3 pretty quick, and then we've slowed down. Because I don't want them to get to freaking max level 20. Like, the game starts freaking breaking the higher you go in Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not nope. Now in DC20, I probably might not be as afraid of that, because I'm gonna make sure that it's smooth, and as you can hopefully see from this table, it's pretty simple and pretty clean, right? So there's that. And then 1 level per session is really fast. I would say it's level 1 session you get to 2, 1 session you get to 3. 2 or 3 sessions you get to 4, 2 or 3 sessions get to 5, and then maybe it's like every 3 or 4 sessions, maybe 5 sessions, and yeah, right. My players right now are level 5, and we are in session 21, right? So there's that. Level 5. Level 5 or level 5 or 6? I think they're level 5. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Anyway, so now this is the big bread and butter here, especially if we're about to get into classes, level 1 you get class features, level 2 you get class features from your class, level 5 you get class features, and level 8 you get class features. Those are where your class features come in. And this is for all classes too. Surprise, surprise, all classes get their similar stuff at the similar levels, right? At least like their classes do, right? And then subclasses, all classes get their subclasses at 3rd level and 6th and 9th. So they all get them together as like a team. I think that makes sense too. I could go on another rant there. Your ancestries, you also get a free ancestry trait, which is a little bonus feature situation at level 4 and 7. Cool. And then there we go. That's the whole deal. Oh, and then these talents, right? Talent. There we go. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is talents. J.A. Roma holding on to dear life right there. That's funny. And then, Sebastian has a question. I'm interested in playtesting your system with my group. What level do I need to go back in your Patreon to access the alpha content? Thank you, Sebastian. Probably in August is going to be the best time to do this. I expect a lot of people to do this. There's a lot of people that are on Patreon right now at the free tier, which just gives them alerts on the posts I make. They don't actually get any rewards or pay anything. It's free. They just get alerted on things I make posts on, especially public posts. So guarantee whenever the alpha is released, I'm going to be making a post on Discord, a post on YouTube, a post on a video, I'm making a post all over the place talking about the alpha being released. And when the alpha does release, I very much see people joining Patreon at the Metallic Dragon tier, or at the Bronze tier, Bronze Dragon tier, and then downgrading back down to where they were. So current patrons will probably be at whatever tier they're at, upgrade to get the system, and then downgrade back down, which is totally fine and cool. I respect it. I see that. I see a lot of people doing that. Or the free people would just join at the bronze and then go back to free, right, for that month. So whatever month that I release the alpha, probably next month, is going to be when that happens. So I would love that, Sebastian. That's sick, awesome, cool. And exactly, yeah, and that's 100. Just like the Starlight said, it's 100 works out for everybody, and that's a perfect scenario. I love it, I appreciate it, and that's what's going to help this thing on popping. Because I especially hope that it works out, because with those people upgrading and then downgrading, hopefully that's an extra little bump so that I can start buying the art and getting commissions done for things to get the book and moving towards that. Because I'm bringing in people to review, and I'm paying out more than usual and all that kind of stuff. So all of that support super helps. So yeah, sweet. There we go. So now, here's one thing also that I want to say as far as how multi-classing works. So let me go back to this chart here. So here's whoa, Scatterbug with a sneak attack. Scatterbug with a sneak attack. Of course, Bug is now the boss. Sneak attack, pew pew. It's not pew pew. It's chomp. Your little pincers, man. Let's go. So, Leatherbound. I'm gonna work on that, Grand Old Dwarf. I really am. All right. So, here's how multi-classing works. Right. Oh man, it's so cool. So at level 1, you get a couple of class features, right? So should I show a class? I don't know. Okay, hold on. Okay. Well, one second. So at level 1, you get a little list of features. Let's say you get about 3 features at level 1. You know, the same thing happens like in Dungeons & Dragons Pathfinder. You get like, you get this, and that. You're, like barbarians get rage and like reckless attack, and fighters get second wind and a fighting style or whatever. Like you get stuff, right? So classes get stuff at first level. Classes get stuff at second level and 5th and 8th, and the subclasses at 3, 6, 9. You get the idea, right? Talents. Here's what's going to happen at talents. There's 3 things that could possibly happen with talents. So you get a talent, and all it is you get a talent. It's a coupon. Every single one of these talents is the same talent. You just get a talent. So at level 2, I'm given a talent. I'm gonna use here we go. Here's my coupon. I have a talent, and I have this talent. I'm like, oh, cool, I get a talent at level 2. What can I spend it on? You really have 3 categories of options here, right? So I could take this talent. I'm level 2. I can go get any of the general talents at level 2. We're talking the general features of the game. Like Sentinel, Greater Weapon Master, Sharpshooter, except the not broken versions of them. Actor feat, skill, whatever feats you want to go get, right? In DC20, they're called talents. So at level 2, you get your talent, you'll coupon, and you can go get any of the general talents that anyone could get ever. It's just the only requirement is to be level 2. You could go cash in the talent and get that thing. Awesome, cool, you get that, awesome. Or within your own class, let's say I'm a paladin, right? I'm a paladin, and I have my talent right here. I'm level 2. I'm a paladin. There are going to be paladin class talents at level 2 for paladins only. So it'll have a level requirement of 2 and a class requirement of paladin, that you have to be a paladin in order to take that. Cool. You'll be able to take those, right? Awesome. And then there are multi-class talents, and this is where it gets freaking so awesome. So multi-class talents, I can take this coupon and spend it on a multi-class talent. If I do this, I am able to get a multi-class talent, and at level 2, the multi-class talent I can get at level 2 allows me to go get any level 1 class talent from another class. See what I'm saying with this, right? So at level 2, I could use this talent right here, right? I could use this talent from level 2 to go backwards and take any class's level 1 class feature. Now, this is not a 1 level dip like in Dungeons and Dragons, and you do 1 level in a class and you get all of that stuff from the entire chunk of that class, like a Hexblade Warlock, and you get all these things. No. Right? All you do is you get 1 talent, and if you want to use a multi-class talent, instead of getting level 2 general features or your own class's features of level 2, it gets watered down a little bit, for balance reasons. So instead, you can get a level 1 class feature from any class in the game, right? So classes like Eldritch Knight. A subclass of Eldritch Knight no longer exists in DC20 because it doesn't have to exist, because it beautifully already exists, because you can be a fighter, and then guess what an Eldritch Knight fighter, guess what that fighter is going to do with this talent? What do you think this Eldritch Knight, this player has created a character that wants to be a sword wielding, but also has a little bit of magic? What do you think this person's going to do with that talent right here? They're probably going to go wizard, baby. Jeroma. Man, we're synced up tonight, brother. Wizard, baby. Let's go. Or what? You know what's crazy? You could go sorcerer. How do you want to express your magic? What kind of magic do you want to dabble into? Do you want to go druid? Do you want to be a guardian of nature? Do you want to go barbarian? Do you want to go barbarian and then go druid, but get spellcasting of a druid? So you're playing a barbarian. You have all the class features of a barbarian's 1 and 2, and then you spin this talent off into druid. and then you get this little bit of craziness here. And then like Zealot Barbarian, you want to be a barbarian that has like this like holy little vibe to it, you know, you just go pick up a cleric, pick up a paladin. You could be a barbarian and then take this talent and go pick up a paladin feat. So you're a barbarian and a little dabble into paladin. Super sick, right? And then what do you think you can do with this talent? This talent you get right here? This talent you can get right here, you can cash this talent in, the level 4 talent. The level 4 talent you can cash in and go get any level 2 or 1, right? You cut it in half basically. So level 4 you can go backwards and get any class's level 2 class feature or level 1 class feature. Ooh, you see where this is going, right? And then what do you think you can do with this class talent? This class talent, you better buckle up for it, might blow your mind. This class talent allows you to go backwards and get a level 5 class feature. Or it lets you go backwards and get a level 3 subclass feature from another class or your own class. That's right, people. You can double dip, get a subclass feature from another subclass within your own class and double subclass. So you're a wizard that wants to be an evocation wizard, and you've picked the evocation subclass feature, and then you keep going and you get you get your next little evocation subclass feature, and then you're like, you know what, I want to take this talent, go backwards and dabble into an abjuration wizard's subclass feature and steal one of those. Or, you know, now I want to go back to, you know what I'm saying? Now the one requirement though is you do have to have one class feature from this class previously in order to take a subclass feature. You know what I'm saying? You fully want to do that. And then Nitley says, so you can be God. You will be surprised. Maybe you'll have to see the classes in action to know this. It is not broken. That's the other crazy part here. It's not broken at all. Because here's the difference. And this is where Nitley, let me know if this makes sense. Is in Dungeons and Dragons, if you take a 1 level dip, you get everything from that level, right? You get all the stuff, right? So whenever people take a level in this or a level in that, there's multiple things you get. When you take this talent, you're only getting one thing. You're cherry picking one thing, right? So a barbarian gets like 3 or 4 things at level 1. So if you go backwards and grab something, you're grabbing one thing, a fourth of what a normal barbarian would get. You know what I'm saying? So it's not wild. The customization is wild. All the options and possibilities are wild, but you're not just going to be broken overpowered. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then what else was? Oh yeah. So the subclass feature. There's going to be multiple subclass features. So at level 3, whenever you get a subclass feature, you're probably going to get like 2 or 3 little mini features. So whenever you go back and steal one, you're not stealing all 3 of them. That would turn you into God. That would be broken, right? But you're just getting one, and you're going to be able to pick and make your class the way you want, right? And that also means every class that gets added to the game in the future, the options and opportunities that open up for you are just nuts, right? So there we go. Oh my gosh, yeah, you can finally, hero luminary vocation of a Dragon Quest. Yeah, see, like you can truly love that. There we go. Nice. What's up, Cody Cook? Cody Cook's finally here. Battlemaster Echo Knight. Yes. You could totally do so much stuff like that. Yes. And then leveling up. This is just as you level up, the different things you upgrade, and then prestige levels, and done. Sweet. All right, now, here's what I want to show you guys. Where all right, I'm just gonna go back to the beginning. So I want to show you guys classes. Hey, what? Jeroma comes back in with another $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. The double subble for the double subclass, my man. Double super chat for the double subclass. Let's go. Ja, man. And Jeroma, you saw it, man. You saw it, dude. You saw it in the Echo Knight. We're syncing on Echo Knight too, but thank you, Jeroma. Thank you, dude. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. And there's Jeroma. Jeroma's been attacked, and now Jeroma is the boss. There he is. Let's go. Appreciate you, Jeroma. I hope I'm saying your name right. It's fun to say Jeroma. I hope it's not like J.A. Roma or something like that. I've tried everything. All right, anyway. So here's what we're on and popping tonight. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to dip into classes. Here are all the classes in DC20. There are 23 classes. Now, time out. Hold up. I know I just said 20. There's too many classes. Trust and believe. I know there's too many classes. The alpha is going to release with about 12, maybe 14. I'm trying to not do more than 14. I was going to try and do 10 at first, but that's just not going to happen. So on this chart right here, anything you see in purple is done and ready for the alpha. Anything you see in red is not yet, right? In fact, the Druid and Bard are next up. Druid, Bard, and Warlock. Druid, Bard, Warlock are next up, right? Also, if you really notice and pay attention, there are more martial classes right now than spellcaster classes, because every single spellcaster has a lot of unique stuff that goes on with it, because I want every single spellcaster to cast spells differently. So each of them have different unique mechanics going on with them. So, and spells take some time to make as well. So I need more time before I can make more spellcasters. There is still a wizard, sorcerer, cleric, those and scion. Those 4 classes are, so I still have 4 caster classes. And the very next ones I'm going to release still in the alpha is Warlock, Druid, and Bard. And then those will be ready for the beta as well. So that will be released as well, just in follow-ups, right? But yeah, here's what we're looking at. Liam, what's up, Liam? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Hope we get to fight Alcander in DC20. Fight Alcander. You got to join forces with Alcander. Let's go. Let's go. Can't wait to see how Scion works. Oh, with is a wizard, is a warlord. Oh, what's a warlord? All right. So here's what we're gonna do real quick. Here's what each of these classes are. Actually, no. I guess here's what we'll do. I'll make a poll. We'll do a poll here in a second. Just hold up. As I explain these classes, just think about which one you'd want to see, and I will do one class showcase tonight. Right now, I'll reveal one class. The only people that have seen classes are the patrons in the live stream thing. I have not said anything about any classes to anyone in any live stream at all. The only people that have seen glimpses of it are patrons in the patron only live stream. So depending on which class you pick, patrons have seen some of these, but depending on which classes y'all pick, don't pick it yet. Depending on which classes y'all see and I reveal tonight, it might be the first time that's ever seen the public. So anyway, wizard, sorcerer, obviously, classic, iconic, right here. I have very different interpretations of them that are going to feel a lot different, and they're gonna. I really want them to be iconic and stuff. Cleric, obvious. Paladin, obvious. Fighter, obvious. Barbarian, ranger. I will say this, a little spoiler here: the DC20 ranger is not a spellcaster. The DC20 Ranger is a martial class that expresses all of its magical tracking and nature and shooting and archery and bows and traps and all the things that hunters do. It expresses it through mundane means, but dear God, is it badass, right? Because Rangers in D&D are these like hybrid half-casters, kind of like Paladins. Paladins are hybrid. Paladins are a martial class that does have mana and spellcasting stuff as well. That is a hybrid class. It's a martial hybrid. Ranger, we thought about having it be a martial hybrid, right? Like a Paladin. No, man. No, they don't have mana. They're not like talking to, like, they don't cast magic. They're just freaking really good at survival. They're hunters. They're master hunters. So when they track things down, they're not using magic to track it down. They are tracking it down because they are great at what they do. You know what I'm saying? Just wait. I got a little passion right there. All right. So, Ranger is a martial class with a much different direction. It has a similar feel, but it is expressed in a very Ranger way. Ranger in the chat right here has seen the Ranger because of some stuff that their name is Ranger. So come on, let's go. And the DC20 time, let's go Quantum. And then Rogue, obviously. Monk. I think I killed it on the Monk, y'all. I spent so much goddamn time in the Monk. The Monk probably took me the longest of any of these classes. I disappeared into a hole to get this Monk right. And then the Scion. Scion is a mental like telekinesis, mind magic, like almost like a Jedi in some ways too. The Scion has a Jedi subclass, just for the record. The Scion has a Jedi subclass, and it has like a Sith Lord subclass with like lightning and stuff. But that's just from my Star Wars background. It's not called that, but it's inspired by that. But Scion's like mental telepathy type stuff. So here we go. Everyone in the chat say one of the purple classes. Oh, sorry. Warlord is like a battlefield tactician. Battlefield, master of the battlefield, tactician, all that kind of stuff. General of the battle, moving people around, like being able to have people take turns, take actions on their turn to move around the battlefield, make attacks. It's like a battle bard, if you want to if that makes sense, right? So, not a spellcaster though. Anyway, say one class in the chat right now, and I will pick one class to reveal at the end of this at the end of the stream, which is right now. I will reveal one class for the first time. So here we go. We have Ranger, Paladin, Monk, Warlord, Rogue, Warlord, Monk, Paladin, Scion, Warlock, Monk, Paladin, Scion, Ranger, Monk. Oh, Cleric, Monk. I think it's Monk, y'all. Oh, another monk. Okay, yeah, it's Monk. All right, let me make sure I scroll back up to make sure people aren't double saying Monk. No, they're not double saying Monk, so it's Monk. All right, yep, it's Monk. Oh, okay, cool. It's Monk. All right, done. It's Monk. It's time. Maybe I hyped up Monk too much by saying all the stuff that I did for Monk. All right, here's how we're going to do this, though. I'm going to have to make a duplicate screen of this. All right. We're going to be right here. I'm going to click on the Monk. I'm like nervous to show you guys the Monk. All right. Monk features. All right. I'm kind of nervous. Like, I want you guys to be honest. I for real want you guys to be honest, but I'm a little nervous to show the Monk because the Monk gets dumped on so much in D&D, and it's bad for lots of reasons. Even though it's still solid and be able to do, and you can do this stunning thing, and it's just not. It needs some love, and I really, really wanted to do some service to this Monk. So, here's the Monk. Oh yeah, with Purist. Purist was interested in what I was going to do with the Monk, and for a long time I was like, dude, I don't want to show you yet. I'm still working on it. For weeks I worked on this Monk, and then it was finally ready, and then Purist was pretty surprised. So we'll see. All right, but for real, like I want y'all. This is to address this, Monk and the reactions and stuff. Monk is going to have more reactions than most classes. The Monk's talents at level 2 are also going to have more reactions than most classes. The Monk, in some ways in this, will have some reactions. So right now, the Monk does have more reactions than most classes. But I by no means want the Monk to have a lot of reactions at level 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? At level 5 and 8, they get reaction stuff. Their subclass features, reaction stuff. Talents, reaction stuff. But I don't want the baseline Monk to just be a bunch of reactions and all that kind of stuff, because then that's too much, and then that's intimidating for some players. And I want people to choose to go into that, or at least be higher level before that type of stuff comes on. So anyway, and then hey, DJ One Eye, DJ One Eye, let's go. Look who's back. Back again. Let's go. Bug's hyping you up too. All right. So here we go. Whew. But I want you guys to be honest. With what you think about this. How in general, the best way I can see feedback on this is give me numbers in the chat. If you're ever feeling like, ooh, interesting, when I say a new concept or an idea, just type a number in the chat, 1 through 10, right? 10 being like, dude, what? Oh my God, mind blowing. 8 and 9, cool. Even a 7. 7's like, oh, nice. I'm excited for that. Which is probably a 7 would probably be an improvement of what D&D is, right? 5 is like, I don't really know. That's interesting. I'm not. And then obviously lower numbers. 1 is like, I hate it, right? So 1 through 10. Type numbers in the chat whenever I say stuff at any point in time. Doesn't have to be. All right, cool. Anyway, so another thing with classes, all classes in general get 4 talents. The first one you get, which is what you see here, is the Monk Martial Mastery feature. There's a Fighter Martial Mastery, Barbarian Martial Mastery, Paladin Martial Mastery. It's the most boring thing that is just a starter kit booster pack to get the class up and running. It gives you masteries, right? It gives you masteries with light weapons and light armor. Cool. The Fighter gives them masteries with all weapons, all armor. Simple. Spellcasters get mastery with spellcasting. You know what I'm saying? It's just basic stuff. And then you get maneuvers and techniques, which I've done full live streams on maneuvers and techniques. Maneuvers and techniques are awesome. It's martials are so much fun to play because of maneuvers and techniques. But you get maneuvers, which cost stamina to use, and techniques, which cost maneuvers, which cost action points to use. They're just things you can do to make your attacks work different and better in cool ways, apart from just attack, right? And techniques are big, huge things that you can do with stamina, right? Stamina, also, just for people that might not know, stamina is an energy source that martials get like mana. But here's the important part. Mana, a character might have like a mana pool of like 10 or something. 10 mana, higher levels like 20 mana, it gets high. And then that mana drains down and it goes down to 0. You can't cast spells anymore until you rest, and then you regain your mana, and it's very simple, right? Stamina is very different. At level 1, you have 1 stamina. Like you can see the chart right here, right? Total stamina points, right? At level 6, you have 4 stamina. So you're not going to have a ton of stamina here, right? Stamina is an energy source that goes up and down. So you have 4 stamina. You start the fight always with max stamina because it's just, you're fighting. And during combat, you'll use stamina and gain stamina. Use stamina, gain stamina within the same combat. And every single class in the game uses stamina differently. Every single class in the game uses stamina differently, and they regain stamina differently, right? Mainly, how they gain stamina is different. Barbarians get stamina when they get hit. Fighters get stamina when they perform a martial maneuver, right? And I don't want to say too much more. But monks gain stamina. You gain 1 additional stamina point for each action point that you do not spend at the end of your turn, which is also represents the efficiency of the monk, right? There's never any energy expenditure that's not well spent. So if you're on your turn and you have 4 action points, you spend it, and you have 1 left over, and you're like, I don't really know what you can literally choose to not use it, and it turns into a stamina point. No other class can do that, right? It represents the perfect efficiency of the monk, of how their body's so efficient that any extra energy expenditure gets conserved as stamina, right? So they get their stamina back in that way. It's almost also a little mini form of meditation or reserving, right? And I really wanted to hit home the martial arts yin and yang, ebb and flow vibe there, so that they're output, they reserve and they keep and they gain stamina, right? So there's that. There's one right there, right? No wasted motion. Exactly. I see the numbers. I see. Okay, cool. All right, now next one. Monk stance. You learn 2 monk stances from this list. Using a free action, right? You don't have to spend an action point for this. You can use it as a free action. You can enter into a stance. You enter into a stance. You enter into a stance. Oh, you enter into a stance. You know what I'm saying? Right? And you gain the benefits from only 1 monk stance at a time, right? So you're going to be able to have stances as a monk. You guys ready to see these stances? Oh, good chills. 1 billion. Let's go. Take my 10 to the bank, baby. Jeroma with a $10 super chat to say 10. That's legit. All right. Check it out. So, bear stance. +1 damage on all heavy and brutal hits, right? So in DC20, whenever you beat an armor class by 5, so whatever the armor class is, if you're attacking a creature with a 15 armor class, if you beat it by 5, you deal an extra 1 point of damage. It's called a heavy hit. If you beat it by 10, it's a brutal hit and you deal an extra damage. These monks in bear stance, right? Whatever that would look like. In bear stance, they're swinging hard. Whoa, like haymakers, baby. Haymakers. You're like swinging your fists around, like swirling around, mauling things, right? On heavy and brutal hits, they deal 1 more damage on top of what they normally do, right? And on +2 damage on critical hits, even more than what a critical normally is, right? So if you miss or if you just hit, it actually does nothing. But man, oh man, if you get a heavy or a brutal hit or a crit, bam, right? Bear stance, right? And while in bear stance, if you miss on an attack, you gain advantage on the next attack before the end of your next turn. This is similar, like you're using the momentum from your swing to spin around and attack again. It's efficiency of motion, right? You attack, you miss, but you let the momentum carry through into the next attack. Bear stance, all right? All right, there we go. Bear stance, monk. All right, next stance, Bull stance. In parentheses, I have here like the general flavor of the feel of what the mechanic is, right? Bull stance. You deal 1 bludgeoning damage anytime you ever knock a target prone, right? Bludgeoning damage whenever you push a target or knock them prone. So any mechanic that involves you knocking someone down or pushing them back, right? So if you just took the shove action and you shove somebody, instead of them just moving back like every other person in the game does, you just move them back, you just knock them down. Anytime while in bull stance, which it's not this, I don't think this would be what bull stance is, that'd look dumb. But while in bull stance, knockback stance, anytime you knock somebody back or knock them down, they just take 1 damage, right? When you take the shove action or shove maneuver, the target's knocked back 1 additional space more than usual, right? And you can choose to move them in a straight line. Additionally, you can choose to move in a straight line with the target and amount of spaces that they were knocked back. So like a bull, right? So if you knock somebody back, let me see if my hands are, okay. So I gotta move this, okay? So if you knock somebody back, right? All this feature is saying you can move with them, right? So if you knock them back, you can move with them, right? So it's like, instead of like, with this feature, you can like freaking charge them over, man. Yeah, so bull stance, right? Linebacker tackle stance. Yeah, Garrus. And then, sorry, I'm going to go back here. Cobra stance. Cobra stance, +1 damage against creatures that have damaged you since the start of your last turn. So it's a strike back counterattack stance. So any creature that has damaged you last turn, you deal +1 bonus damage against those creatures. So it's like a creature that attacks you, this is you attacking them back, right? And you gain bonus damage against that. When a creature within your melee range misses you with a melee attack, you can spend it 1 AP as a reaction. There's your reaction, people. Reaction monks. So if someone misses you, you can spend an action point to make a reaction to make an attack check, right? So this is like counter stance, snake, cobra stance, right? That's the vibe of this stance. Again, keep in mind, monks are only going to be able to pick 2 stances, and they can freely go between them, right? You can go and then shift and change, you know what I'm saying? But you can only benefit 1 stance at a time. Keep that in mind. Right? Cool. And then gazelle stance, a nimble stance, +1 movement speed and jump distance while in this stance. And yes, you can be in this stance outside of combat if you want. You ignore difficult terrain entirely, right? And you have advantage on agility checks and saves and acrobatics checks. Nimble stance, baby. You know what I'm saying? So strategically, what if I want to be a bear stance and a gazelle stance? So gazelle stance, run into battle, shift, bear stance. Like, that's cool. I've gotten chills so many times. Isn't this wild, man? Isn't this wild? Oh, it's so cool. I just love it. Oh, what the heck? Jungle Joe 40. Jungle Joe 40. I don't know what NT means, but dude, thank you, Jungle Joe. What's up? What's up, Jungle Joe? Finally not at work during your live stream, so a monk stance is similar to a martial arts style. Yeah, honestly. And it's the first super chat from Jungle Joe. Appreciate you, Jungle Joe. Let's go. MVP. Scatterbuck says MVP. Thank you, bro. And yeah, ultimately to answer Jungle Joe's question, it's like a martial arts style, you know, like I'm not well versed in martial arts and jiu-jitsu. I did coach wrestling. I coached wrestling for 2 years. Okay. Before I, change sports and stuff, okay? But it is representative of a martial arts style. So especially if you want to express however you want to express your monk. Are they a big heavy hitter? Yeah, bear stance. Are you a quick wow? Are you like the monk that's just like, like the I'm seeing this like the face over the head and pang, and you have the quick counterattacks? Cobra stance. It's your style, baby. It's your style. Jiu-jitsu guy, let's go. Just wait for the grapple stance, which is mantis stance, which is right here. So mantis stance. Advantage on all martial checks to initiate or escape grapples, right? You're grappling onto them, grapple stance. I almost called this one gorilla stance or monkey stance, but mantis stance, right? Praying mantis, right? Grapple. If you have a creature grappled, additionally, at the start of your turn, you get +1 action point. This is the only mechanic in the game that does this. You get a bonus action point to use on grapple maneuvers. Y'all see how crazy that is, right? Grappling is in general lame in most games, but like grappling, and if you haven't seen grapple maneuvers, grapple maneuvers are like attack maneuvers where you get to spend action points to deal additional things to where you can like restrain people or deal extra damage or choke them out or throw them or make them prone or whatever, right? So what Mantis stance lets you do gives you advantage on all grapple things, initiating and grabbing them. But when you do have someone grappled, you gain a bonus action point to spend for free on grappling type stuff, right? So yeah. Mai asked a good question. Can monks switch stances multiple times per turn, right? So start in, Gazelle rush in, then switch to heavy hands, all the same run, right? So what this means, to break down some DC20 language here, is you can use a free action, right? So a free action in DC20 is open a door, free action, unsheath a weapon, free action, pick up, get a potion, free action, drink a potion, free action, right? Now, all of that I just listed off are all lists of free actions. It's a list of all things that can be done as a free action. But in combat, once you do and take a free action, you only get one free action per turn, and any additional free actions you take are one action point, right? It's only fair. Don't get greedy, free action point people. So in DC20, how that would work is if there's a door, you open the door, free action. Here's your 4 action points, right? You open the door, free action. You grab a potion, that's a free action, but you already took a free action this turn, that costs an action. You drink a potion, you close the door and open the door again. You see what I'm saying? So as monks, you get basically one freebie stance switch per turn, assuming you didn't also open a door or drink a potion or do something, some other free action, right? So monks get one freebie per turn to be able to do this, as a free action. So the combat starts. I'm assuming you're not in a stance unless you're describing yourself just in a stance walking around. You know what I'm saying? Which actually makes me think of one note here that I'm going to write down off to the side that I want to. That's Curse of Strahd. That's not what I'm talking about. You did make me just think of a note here for monk stance out of combat, right? But anyway, that's another thing. So you would be able to enter a stance for free, do whatever you want in that stance, move around, and then if you did want to change the stance again during your turn, that would be one action point, right? But also I am, because Mai said this, I'm gonna blank the screen real quick. I'm gonna scroll down, and at level 5, I'm gonna put switch stance for free permanently. Right? So Mai might have just added a quality of life improvement to for monks. At higher levels, it might just be completely free and not cost anything, right? You can just do it at will, right? So anyway, Mantis stance, Mongoose stance, +1 damage while you are flanked, right? And when you make an attack check against a target using an unarmed strike, you can make another unarmed strike against a different target in your range. So Mongoose is like multiple targets type of stance, right? If you are flanked and you're surrounded by a bunch, while you are flanked, if you have 2 creatures within your space, you get +1 damage while you're flanked, because you're just like fighting for your life, right? Surrounded. Imagine those movies in martial arts where they're surrounded by a whole bunch of people fighting them all at the same time. That's Mongoose stance, baby. When you make an attack check using an unarmed strike, you can make another unarmed strike against a different target within your melee range, right? And so that's kind of how that works. So it's basically like another attack to some creatures that are close to you, right? So this stance, if you're surrounded, ho, baby, right? Don't do it. Don't mess with it. And then a Scorpion stance, when a creature enters your melee range, you can make an opportunity attack against them. Everybody knows that's wild. Scorpion stance, stinger, baby. And then they get a maneuver with 1 action point to deal. You can deal 1 damage, and your melee range increases by 1 space. You can only use this once. So you basically can spend an action point to deal 1 damage and give yourself range. You give yourself the reach feature, even though you're unarmed. Right? It's that range scorpion tail. You temporarily spend an action point to give yourself reach to be able to like lunge forward, pang, pop somebody, do a backflip back, right? So you're in 1 space and you're attacking a target 2 spaces away from you, which would basically be like you power slide up next to them, punch them, kick them or whatever, backflip, like back handsprings, back to your spot, right? So that's your scorpion stance. And then we have turtle stance, which means you cannot move. That's a little wild for the turtle. You cannot move. You gain damage reduction of 2, and you have advantage on all might saves and might checks from being knocked prone. anything that will knock you prone or move you back. Is you have advantage on. So sick. And then the last stance is Wolf Stance. When you take the attack action, you gain 1 space of additional movement for free. So it's literally like a slash move. So anytime you take the attack action, you get 1 space of movement. So you can attack him, move away. Attack him, move away. Attack him, move away, right? You get 1 free space of movement every attack you make. And then you have additional opportunity attacks and creatures disadvantage attacks against. You have advantage on opportunity attacks and creatures have disadvantage on you, right? So you are like opportunity attack king with this whole situation. Oh, what's up? Eddie's in the chat. Yeah, for the Mongoose Stance, it does say on here once each turn. Once on each of your turns, you can do this double attack situation, right? So it's not like you're like bah, 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 bah. It's once per turn. So you get attack, and that's once per turn, right? You can take the attack action again, but you won't get that extra bonus one, right? It is only once per turn, or that would be wild, right? So yeah, oh, hold up, we got some super chats. Thank you, Wolves. If the monk is this awesome, I cannot wait for Druid. Oh, I'm telling you, man. There's so much has gone into each and every one of these classes, for real. Matthew Heyman, let's go. Been a while since you kicked off the cause. Appreciate you, Coach. Let's go. Thanks for kicking into the cause. Thanks for kicking into the cause, Matthew. Let's go, Matthew. Hey, man, let's go. All right. So there's the stances. Love the hype. Appreciate you. We're already in overtime, but I want to make sure to finish showing you guys the monk, at least the first level of monk. Flurry of blows. Your unarmed strikes. This is another feature the monk gets. So far the monk has gotten their monk mastery feature, which is super simple and ultimately not really a feature. It just lets them have their stamina, lets them get maneuvers and masteries and all that kind of stuff. And then they get a monk stance. Right? I'm just kind of a refresher. They get to pick 2 of those things that we just talked about. And then there's Flurry of Blows. Your unarmed strikes deal an additional +1 damage. So an unarmed strike deals 1 damage, and this would make it deal 2 damage now, which brings you on par with regular one-handed weapons. A regular one-handed weapon, like a one-handed simple sword or an axe or a staff or a hammer or one-handed weapons. One-handed weapons deal 2 damage. Now your fists deal 2 damage. So you're not going to be like, oh, I'm just a little pimp. You know what I'm saying? Monks were always behind the damage curve in D&D. No. When making an attack check with an unarmed strike, you can make an additional attack check twice before the multiple attack penalty is applied. So yes, monks partially ignore the multi-attack penalty at level 1, which is kind of like gaining extra attack at level 1. So normally, if you were to make an attack, your next attack would have a disadvantage on it. Monks do not. They're the only ones right now that have, like, especially level 1, that get that. That's wild, right? So there you go. And then they also get patient defense. Oh, patient defense, unarmored, which is basically unarmored defense or whatever. Patient defense, you gain a bonus mental defense equal to your grit modifier. Same bonus to your PD while you're wearing armor. So you gain, while unarmored, you gain a bonus to your defense equal to your grit score, which is representative of monks' unarmored defense or whatever, giving their wisdom modifier, right, as what they currently have in D&D. So that's similar in that way. But you're also, monks' mental defense is going to be a notch higher than the rest. And then Leaf on the Wind. While not wearing armor, your speed increases by 1. Ooh, baby. While not wearing armor, your speed increases by 1. So you're just that 1 notch faster, which also is going to keep leveling up over time and getting a little bit faster here, right? And then last is the flavor feature. I haven't talked about this, I guess, yet, but flavor features, every class gets a flavor feature. It's just one extra little feature that gets added on at the end. It has nothing to do with combat. It's all pure role play. And for meditation, you get, whenever you do a little short, you can enter a state of meditation during a short rest or longer. You choose 1 charisma or intelligence skill, and you gain 1 mastery in that chosen skill, right? So you just meditate on a mental stat, something intelligence or charisma based, right? Nothing physical, only the mental. And you meditate on the mental, and you gain 1 mastery level in 1, So there you go. There's a little bit of role play feature there, and boom, there we go. And we got a super chat from 323 Starlight. So will the subclass be inspired by martial arts, movies, or anime, or both? Honestly, the subclasses, I'm interested to see where I want to go with that. I do want to have some of the stuff like I want to see a drunken master in there. I want to see some of the more Zen inspired things that get a little bit magical, but then I also want to keep it grounded. I want to have a brawler version where it's a little bit less, so I think there's going to be a full spectrum of that. But I also want to have like a grappling one. I want to have a kickboxing one. So I do think that it'd be cool to have martial arts be inspired by their subclasses to really dive into certain types of playstyles with it. So yes on that. Fist of Steel. There we go. Key points are at second level. But we're already 20 minutes into overtime, and my wife's waiting on me now, so I'm a little bit late. But I got carried away with the monk talking about how much hype we have for the monk, and I appreciate you guys sharing the hype here with me. And you guys got to see the monk super early access right there. But that's just level 1, baby. That's just level 1. Terry Guerres, thank you for the 10 out of 10. Lots gone into this monk, and that's just level 1, guys. That's just level 1. Because I'm telling you guys, at level 1, you could play at level 1 in DC20 for a while, and you just have a freaking blast, right? Can you imagine? Gosh dang, man. Level 1 is so cool. Level 1 is so much fun. It's not just like, all right, level 1, I'm going to run up and punch kick it. Okay, cool. That's my turn. Can we level 3? Can we start at level 3? No one's going to want to start at level 3. Everyone's going to want to start at level 1 like you're freaking supposed to. Come on now. What? Vincent Criscatelli. Yeah. Vincent Criscatelli. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Love the channel and everything you do. First super chatter. Appreciate you, brother. For real. Thank you for that. It's super cool to see people come out, especially the first time people coming out. First time super chatter people coming out. And just I feel love, dude. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. It's cool to see people. I see it all the time. You guys in these live streams are so awesome, and I feel the love. All the numbers coming out when I started talking about the monk and all the 9s and 8s and 10s and stuff. Thank you guys for that. Thank you. Monk looks perfect. DC20 best RPG period. Let's go. Yes, so Lucas, you will have stamina and ki, but here's the thing with stamina and ki. Stamina, and this is the last thing I'll say on monk, and it's only because I love the yin and yang, ebb and flow stuff like I talked about before, the outward energy and the inward energy. You have stamina, you will have an amount of ki points equal to your stamina, right? So your stamina is energy out. It is hitting things, moving fast, other things, big maneuvers and stuff. And I haven't even talked to you about the ability that monks have that if there's a target in the air, they can jump up to the target in the air and knock them down to the ground, like freaking Dragon Ball Z style. Don't get me started. But anyway, stamina is outward energy of doing things, and ki is inward energy reacting to things. If you get poisoned, your ki can subdue it. If you get knocked down, your ki can flip you back up. If you get, you know what I'm saying, slow fall, any sort of reactionary type things is what ki interacts with, right? So ki is purely defensive, zen, and the stamina is right? So with that, I will end the stream on that note. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for showing the monk some love. Lots of work went into that. Dwarf Knight, you better check out this monk if you want to see. You just missed it, but you can rewind. Let's go. So anyway, y'all are great. Y'all are awesome. Love y'all. Stay creative. Think outside the box. May peace be with you. This is the calmest I've ever ended a stream in honor of the monk. Trying to meditate. Shh.